Hey, peace to all my peoples in the ethos. You have just tuned into the Real HD Show. Uh, this is the show where we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly within and of our people, and we heal it with what? Freedom music. Freedom music happens from 7:30 to 8 o'clock right here. I give you the destination below. You put it in your address bar above and you join us on the stream and we can rock out to some soulful hip hop, jazz, R&B, you name it, the kitchen sink. Shout out to L. Michael Gibson. We do it all. Tonight we were listening to um, Midnight Star, and we were also listening to Rakim, Know What's On Your Mind. Then we switched to some Tevin Campbell. Then we went back into some Gil Scott Heron. Then we went all the way up to Tank and the Bangers. We was kind of all over the place tonight, man, and it was really dope. It was really a vibe. Y'all need to get in here to experience it, and this is how you do it right here. So you hit the link below. Now you can either hit it or you can copy it. I suggest you copy it, paste it in your address bar up above, URL as it were, and then you can join us backstage before the show starts for that hopeful, that good to get you moving like you should. All right, so just do me this favor: like, share, subscribe to the show, give a comment, and turn on all your notifications so that every time we have a real HD show, you guys can jump up with us and have a higher conversation. So the link for tonight is fresh. It works. Matter of fact, I am going to test that bad boy out right now, just so that everybody should know by now to go into the Real HD Show chat, either in Facebook or Instagram, and see what you can see about how to join the Real HD Show on TV. Um, so I'm just going to jump into the chat really quick and see if the link is working so that nobody's out here hurting. Let me just tap it on my phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you guys can hang in with us. Oh, also, if you guys have any videos, any like points of, I guess, clarity, information, actual factuals, can you guys please submit them to vic7 at gmx.com, vic7 at gmx.com. Please, if you get a message that pops up that says visit this page in Chrome, just hit click here and then hit continue. And then that should bring you right up to speed with what you need. No doubt, indeed. Once again, the link is streamyard.com 2SSZ945PD. One more time, 2SS. Okay, it's working. Very good. All right, so y'all could join us, man. Y'all need to pull up. Y'all need to pull up and let's get busy on tonight's show because it's a good one. And we want you to participate. We want you to feel great. So make sure you are doing those things. So before we get too far going into it, let's pay some bills and give some thanks. You know what I mean? Asante Sana out this piece. So we got Total Package Energy. Waters, powders, gels, teas, juices, zips, whatever you need to get that 3 to 5 o'clock crash off of you. Go to Total Package Energy. It's an all natural company, all natural product, melanated company. Really dope. Um, I spoke to the brother many times. I don't get any money from it. I just like promoting melanated men trying to get theirs with agency and purpose and progressiveness. So I help Total package energy. Also, redeem vacations. Now, I do get a little bit from this. You want to bring 5 people, courtesy of yourself, to the Real HD show. So they'll put it in the chat. Yo, so and so brought me. So and so brought me. So and so brought me here, right? And then when they bring you here, I will give you a 4-day, 3-night vacation to an American destination near you, courtesy of the Real HD show and Redeem Vacations. Also, we have our Sync license fundraiser. Please go to $ the Real HD show. So every word has a cap, right? Including the D in Real HD show. Please go $ the Real HD show. Give till it hurts. We like the kind that jingles, but we rather have the kind that folds and slides. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Now let's promote some stuff in the community. Be healthy, fresh food markets. You know what I mean? Shout out to niggas, shout out to Mhotep and all the beautiful people down at Be Healthy. 4 locations, I believe. And there might be 9 at this point, the way that group is expanding. But hit them up. They got soups, teas, wraps, smoothies. Might even have bean pies at this point. Tell them AJ James from the Real HD show sent you, and they might hook you up. All right. Also, Bats footwear from Nanola. This is a melanated product. This is revolutionary soul engineering. This is a cross between a Van shoe and a Hirachi, so it's really innovative in its sneaker tech. Melanated company down from the NOLA, down, that's right, from that ward, from that 5th ward down in New Orleans. You know what I mean? We want to big up our New Orleans family. Bats sneakers. Ice Spice wants a pair as well. Also, make sure you support Black House. That's right. They got a grand opening coming soon. They're going to be on 190 Monroe Avenue, 2nd floor, Rochester, New York. So if you're in town, go there, go get your artwork, go get your shea butter, your lotions, your teas. Stay tuned for their open mics and all their exhibits that they got going on there. Real dope, Sister Jazz. Tell her AJ James or the Vic from the Real HD show sent you. That's family right there. She will look out for you, and I hope she's able to get on tonight as well. Big up to you, sis. Hope your grand opening is dope. It's going to be on October 19th. Until, you know what I'm saying? It seems like they ready to party while they're making some money. Check out Black Horse Art and Collectibles. Okay. Also, the Real HD Show TV network is expanding. And if you don't know, we have many, many shows that we offer to people. We have Simply Supreme, which is a teen empowerment show. We have Broadcast Beats, which is a music show. We have Sipping on After Dark, which is a relationship show under construction. We got Big House Breakdown that we bring to you every Friday and Sunday about the world of college football. Blacktastic Shopping, which is under construction. VMX Music Experience, which is also under construction. But you know what is about to air, ladies and gentlemen? What is about to air is an expansive show called about hoops. NBA hoops called In the Bonus. That's right. You heard it right here. In the Bonus. I'll be joined by Av. I'll be joined by Godspeed. And we will be talking about the world of hoops, NBA, college, street ball, In the Bonus hoop show. If y'all don't know what In the Bonus is, that's like when, it's getting toward the end of a game and the other team is in foul trouble and they make one more careless foul. And now the superstar or the big doofy gotta go to the free throw line and make 2 crucial buckets that might make or break how you win the game, whether his team wins the game or not. So we're gonna analyze, we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna hit some topics. Of course, you're gonna hear the stuff. We're gonna hit the Jordan LeBron thing. Of course, we're gonna hit all the classic matchups, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna start with And that this flyer will be edited, but we're going to start with the top 10 all-time series. So we'll start with the top 10 all-time, as per position. So I want you guys to tune in. It's going to be on Sunday, October 20th at 7 p.m. We tape at 5. It'll come on at 7 p.m. Yeah, man. So join us. You know what I mean? You'll have some fun. We got some creative graphics, some creative artwork. We got some crazy opinions popping, and we want yours. You know what I'm saying? We can't have a successful basketball show without you. We're gonna have some big time celebrity guests that come through, some international and legendary hoopers that come through. We are working on all of those things. Some coaches, man, check out In the Bonus. That's the hoop show right in time for the start of the NBA basketball season, coming right to you on the Real HD Network. Look out for this advertisement coming to a social media platform near you. All right, so I'm glad you guys can join us tonight. Um, we are the Real HD Show. My name is DeVic. Some people might call you might hear some people call me AJ. That's my government, but on the show, my name is DeVic. That's how you can address me, the victorious one. And we just want to build, have a good time, be progressive, and give you some awareness so you can move fearless out this piece. So I'm glad everybody could be watching right now. We got a bunch of people watching on Facebook right now. We got YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Mom Crush, D Live, Trouble Nation. We are everywhere you want to be. We are the Real HD. Please share the show because this show is going to be really dope. It's going to be really pivotal. You're going to get a lot of information, and I hope you could join us with your opinions, and so we could build. You know what I mean? This ain't no echo chamber here. We need what you have to give to make this show great. So you see the uh, call letters at the bottom. We want you to use them. We want you to jump on, rock out with us as we do our thing on the Real HD Show. Okay? And while we're waiting for everyone to get their notifications up, while we're waiting for people to slide through, we're going to get into our something we haven't done in a while. We haven't done its own standalone stolen legacy moment. That's right, the stolen legacy moment. That's right. It's named after George G.M. James, who wrote the book Stolen Legacy, because it's very important to our people that our contributions, not only in the diaspora but around the world, are appreciated, celebrated, and not remain buried for all of chronology. So, with that being said, we're going to bring it back to the Estados Unidos. That's right, the U.S. And we're going to show you a clip, right, of something really interesting that one of the producers of the show gave me. Shout out to Sincere. You could jump in, bro. You could join us if you want to. Here is the call letters below. Please jump in. The water's fine. We getting deep enough to swim in on the Real HD Show. We do that every stinking week. Y'all come on through so we could do what we got to do. All right, so we are going to show this clip for the stolen legacy moment, and I'm going to pull it up right now, family. So, you know, America is full of crap normally. You know what I'm saying? And the chronology of America being full of crap leads us to another, I guess, iconic entertainment figure that we think has origins in a certain lineage or a certain like origin story, right? And I'm going to show you guys that we have more to offer as far as history And as far as reason for history being what it is and the way that it, you know, plays itself out, then everybody would is led to believe. Um, so I'm just trying to get to my okay, next show clips. Okay, good. So I got to get to my clip so I could play it for you guys. Okay. So be patient, family. We're gonna get there. It's a lot going on tonight. Okay. So let's check this out. This is original Hulk. The original Hulk. Just like the original Captain Marvel was a sister, right? Just like Black Panther was an original piece, you know, detailing the kings and queens of the motherland. But we're going to see what the original Hulk was about and why it may be a part of the stolen legacy right here on the Real HD Show. Check it out.
Wasn't the first Hulk. In fact, the original Hulk was a massive black man known as Tyrone Cash. This character, whose real name was Professor Leonard Williams, was a mentor to Bruce Banner. He was known as a brilliant English scientist who worked on a version of the super soldier serum. After adopting the name Tyrone Cash, he became a powerful gangster, overthrowing entire criminal organizations, criminals, and other crime lords across Africa and Asia. Despite his immense strength, unlike Banner, Tyrone Cash could retain his intellect in his Hulk form. Not to mention, in addition to his strength and intelligence, he had the ability to run at speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour. This advantage allowed him to defeat formidable opponents like Ghost Rider with ease. However, when it was discovered that Cash had been selling S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secrets for years, he was hypnotized by Blade, which prevented him from transforming. This allowed Nick Fury to end his life. Years passed, and Tyrone Cash remained in captivity. He was a forgotten figure, a ghost from the past. Did you know that Bruce Banner wasn't the...
All right. So that was part of our stolen legacy moment. Did you guys know that the original template for the Hulk was a brother? Whoa. That's nuts. Let us know what you think. How does that change, or like, I guess, does it change your opinion on the Hulk? Of course, that crazy scene in Avengers where the Hulk took Loki and smashed him, and that was like a signature moment. But if you're a comic head like I was, then Red Hulk and Gray Hulk and all of the different forms of the Hulk. And then of course all his mix-ins and run-ins with the Asgardians and Ragnarok and all of it. She-Hulk and the Hulk and. But what's interesting about that is the stereotypical nature by which they designed the Hulk after they reinvented the template of the Hulk. That's what's really interesting because they made him unintelligent. They made him a doof, a goof. You know what I mean? They took away his intellect and they made him this ferocious being. And back then you had international sports figures like Blackjack Johnson and Joe Louis that would whoop on opponents in boxing and were these overwhelming behemoth dudes standing at like 6'2", 6'3", pounding on, the little folk that they were fighting. And of course, from the bottom looking up, they must have looked like a raging Hulk. You know what I'm saying? And then just like Birth of a Nation, instead of leaving Hulk intelligent, savvy, well dressed, competent, but powerful, like a Superman, they decided to strip him of those faculties, put him in a pair of ripped jeans that almost look like culottes, right? That almost look like booty shorts, and have him in green and have him be this rage monster. Now, what's interesting about that is the Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein monster, the origin, if you remember way, way, way back, we talked about this. The origin of the Frank and Shelley Frankenstein monster was also a brother. And it was also a brother that was like a behemoth. He was a really big dude, muscular dude, stood at 6 foot something. He looked like a giant. And then, of course, you got the King Kong trilogies. You got all of those, all of those things that show the stereotypical cognitive dissonance of those YT folks, those palm colored folks, and how they saw the black man and how the black man was revered amongst society. And people wanted to see those things. People wanted to see the black man in that way. They wanted to see him look wild and savage and crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let us know what you think of that. What do you think of that? What's your opinion on the origin of the Hulk? Wow, they couldn't have him be intelligent. They couldn't have him be savvy. They couldn't have him be witty or smart. According to the legend, he mentored the scientist that became Bruce Banner. But in the popularized version of the Hulk, Banner and the Hulk was one person. Because I don't know if people would have went for the Hulk being black and intelligent and stylish, and that was the man act. That was the problem they had with Jack Johnson. You can't be all those things and have the ladies swooning and all of that. So then you have to criminalize the stature, the talent, the progressiveness of the figure in a fictionalized way. Let me know what y'all think, man. Put it in the chat. Do y'all think that America does this way too much? I think they do it way too much. I think it's old as hell. And I think they even did this to the Black Panther character. Because according to the comic, Black Panther was the most intelligent person in the kingdom. So not only was he a prince who lost his father and became king and was super athletic, super talented, but he was an intellect. And he would combine his intellect with his abilities. And he was so powerful in that regard. He was like a Tony Stark of Africa. But then when you fast forward to what the movie presents you, you see T'Challa referring to the genius of other people. The genius of the, naval dude that was amongst them, the genius of the white wolf with the mechanical arm, the genius of Shuri, his sister, and even Michael B. Jordan's character, T'Chaka, referring to his savvy, like he wasn't a smart guy. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting when you put it together. Peace, sis, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, no problem. I'm glad you could come on. Did you see we were doing a Stolen Legacy moment on the Real HD show? And I haven't done this in a while, but that's after George G.M. James. And I'm sure being the marvelous bookseller that you are, his powerful work that has lasted through time. And I showed a video. Did you see the video about the Hulk just now?
No, I did not.
Okay, cool. Let me pull that up real quick because I want to get your opinion on what you think of it. Because it brings up a lot of questions about the stereotypical nature of America.
Mm-hmm.
It brings up a lot of questions about not giving. Well, I'll let you. I won't go too far with it because the audience already saw it. But we want our super duper panel member to see it so she can give her opinion. So check this out one more again. The original Hulk on the Real HD show. Check it out.
First Hulk. In fact, the original Hulk was a massive black man known as Tyrone Cash. This character, whose real name was Professor Leonard Williams, was a mentor to Bruce Banner. He was known as a brilliant English scientist who worked on a version of the super soldier serum. After adopting the name Tyrone Cash, he became a powerful gangster, overthrowing entire criminal organizations, criminals, and other crime lords across Africa and Asia. Despite his immense strength, unlike Banner, Tyrone Cash could retain his intellect in his Hulk form. Not to mention, in addition to his strength and intelligence, he had the ability to run at speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour. This advantage allowed him to defeat formidable opponents like Ghost Rider with ease. However, when it was discovered that Cash had been selling S.H.I.E.L.D. secrets for years, he was hypnotized by Blade, which prevented him from transforming. This allowed Nick Fury to end his life. Years passed, and Tyrone Cash remained in captivity. He was a forgotten figure, a ghost from the past. Did you know that Bruce Banner wasn't the... Did you know that Bruce...
All right, so there you go.
Wow.
So Bruce Banner, for all our comic book heads, and especially since the Avengers are so popular, and everybody remembers that scene from the Avengers where he took Loki and he was smashing them all over the city. Hulk smash, Hulk smash. He's one of the more popular Marvel figures, revered for his strength, revered for his ferocity, and only the gentleness of a beautiful woman could get him out of his rage. So now what now that those aren't original, that's AI that they applied to that story. Those aren't like the original pictures of what that was, but the original template for the Hulk was done after Jack Johnson, the boxer.
Oh, who played him? I remember seeing the biography of him. It was James Earl Jones.
Yeah, the original. Yep, James Earl Jones.
Yeah,
Yep,
James Earl Jones. Yeah.
Yep. So what I was talking about with the family before you got on was how stereotypical some of the imagery and some of the storylines are, the way that they re-evolved the Hulk. And I know this may not be a popular subject for you, but they made millions off the stereotypical nature of a brother, the strength, the veracity, the fierceness. But instead of making him intelligent like the original template of the Hulk, they made him this dullard who is this raging, this raging monster. You know what I mean?
Right. No cognitive abilities when he's the Hulk.
Yeah, he doesn't have any cognitive ability. He just wants to smash.
Yeah.
He's like a giant infant. You know what I mean? Throwing a temper tantrum.
And like Bam Bam.
Right. There you go. Like Bam Bam. Right. Wow. I hear that a long time. Yeah, like a Bam Bam. Exactly. I just want to take my club and F something up. You know what I'm saying? And only the white lady coming along with the blonde hair. Betsy Ross. What was her hair? Is it red or black? Whatever it was. She was the daughter of the army general.
Right.
In all the versions, she was the daughter.
She was the daughter. Yep. And she loved him, and she was all, So it just reminded me of Birth of a Nation. It reminded me of all of the stereotypical turn of the century, paradigms that were out there about black men, our strength, our veracity, our viralness.
It always reminds me of King Kong.
Right. Yeah, I said that too. Right.
Reminds me of King Kong. I'm like, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. So that was our stolen legacy moment. And if you don't know, now you know. So you guys can look that up. Don't believe me. There's no echo chambers here at the Real HD Show. Go do the science yourself. Come on back. Let me know what you think. Put it in the chat if you have opinions about that, and let me know if you like the direction of where they took the Hulk. Because in the way that the Avengers series is going now, he lost his power. He's still a big, strong guy, but he's almost like a big old teddy bear.
Oh,
but he's a white guy with glasses like me. Right. He's this lovable, cuddly dude. So far from the original template of the virile, super cool, super intelligent,
Yeah.
and he became a gangster of all things.
I, that I had to laugh when I saw it. I said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
he became a gangster of all things.
I'm a
Now,
gangster."
what's interesting about that is Marvel has this character called Kingpin,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a Hulk. I'm not sure how far you follow comics, but Kingpin used to fight Spider-Man and Power Man and Iron Fist and all of the heroes, Daredevil of Hell's Kitchen and all of that. But he was like this mob boss, and he ran New York, and he ran like the country, and he had these deep ties everywhere, and he could make anything happen just by, but he was this behemoth guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the depiction that they gave of the Hulk after he left, and he stopped doing his military explorations. So I just found it interesting. I found it really, really peculiar the way that they, you know, moved his evolution around. What's your thoughts on that? And let us know at home what you think. Join the crowd.
Yeah, shoot. I'm from the age of reading comic books.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and Lord knows everybody who's ever had a comic book wish that they would have it today.
Oh,
Because
right,
those
right.
Comic Cons and all are very collectible. So if you got them
Oh
out
man,
there, there's somebody willing to buy them.
right,
But
right,
so I'm of that age now. I know my children, they're always now talking about Marvel, my Marvel against DC. But when we had the paper comics, it was Marvel. You had either or you had both. The
right.
Marvel comics, have it in the corner, Marvel, and then DC had DC in the corner.
Hey, you more of a comic book head than you let on. Okay. I
But
feel
yeah,
you
but I
over
mean,
there. I
we're
see you.
reading
I
them.
see you.
Yeah. So like when they do, they've been doing all these reboots and things like that. And even to the point of changing the figures of, the original, like the Justice League. You go to DC, Justice League took totally different now. They
Right,
weren't they weren't really like sexy kind of thing, figures back then. I said now they're like, everything is accentuated, even in the
right,
nerd guys, so
right, right.
so that's the age that I'm from. But I know
Nice.
that I've seen them like anime. I don't get it, but
Oh,
kids.
I'm all over anime because they cross. They converge, right?
I
They
like my
take
kids
the DC and the Marvel characters and they do like
and kind of
these low level animes of them.
yeah.
So you
But
could check
even they're
those out.
pointy. Why they're every one of their depictions have a sharp kind of finish to it. With anime, it's like pointy, and I'm like,
Oh
am
yeah,
I
yeah,
going?
yeah. DC does do that a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
The
So
way they do you draw?
no, my sister used to draw,
Okay, okay, okay,
but I,
okay. That's
because
very
even
observant though. That's dope.
yeah,
That's
well,
dope.
even then, back then, somebody liked you, they made they were into art, they'd make you one or two, and
Yeah, that's
it's
how I
like,
learned how to draw, messing around with comics. I tried to
yeah,
copy what the figure looked like in the comic book, and
mhm,
you got good. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
For
That
sure,
was
for sure.
them. Yeah, that was them. So yes, I don't know, much about what they do in the day except for hearing my kids, like the shirts that I had to buy for them throughout the years. You know,
Right.
and even how all the ages still like it.
Yeah.
25, 23, 17. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's something y'all bond over.
Right. Right.
I don't need
I
to
don't
give you
like the way they
everything.
change. We see. Look at this. We supposed to be talking about cultural stuff. We vibing on comics. Check us out. That's what you get on the Real HD show. You never know where we gonna go with these conversations, but it's always guaranteed to be a higher discussion. So tap in StreamYard.com. Let's see, 2SSZ94Z5PD. Tap in, tap in, tap in. So, like I said before, that was a stolen legacy moment. It's not as heavy as the other ones usually are, but it's very interesting how, just like with the Bender family, remember the horror family that was going
Mm-hmm.
around. It has some lineages to historical context. And now you take the Hulk, unbeknownst to even me, I just found this out myself, and I called myself a comic book aficionado. I used to go to the hotels with my man Tim. Peace, Tim. What's going on, man? Jump on the show, man. Let's talk some comics. When I was in about the maybe fourth grade, fifth grade, we used to go to the
Okay.
comic book conventions downtown Manhattan and trade
Yeah.
comics and
Those
buy
are still
comics.
popular.
Yeah, yeah. Now they cosplay. I wish they was cosplaying when I was little.
Yeah.
Jeez, that would have been so fun. But I used to do that when I was maybe 3 to 4 years. That was like a pastime of mine. We used to break
Mm-hmm.
dance on the block, get our little break dance money, and go buy comics. That's what it was, you know. So cool, cool, cool. Let us know. Do you have any interesting comic stories that you want to share with the Real HD Show? Put it in the chat. Let us know where you're at. But for right now, we're going to jump into our AAT report. Let's go. So today's AAT report, healthy, wealthier, and wiser for a brand new you, because we need cell power, comes to us from our co-producer, Sincere. You know, you could jump on the show anytime, bro. Much love here. Come on through. But he sends me hella videos. We appreciate him. We got a couple of things for the AAT report. We're gonna move fast. So if you want to talk about anything that we showed, please just tap in, put it in the chat. Uh, Sister Aurora, you just jump on and let it flow. Um, right here, this is about diabetes medicine. That cocktail. You know what I mean? Let's check it out. Real HD Show.
PSA for anybody who takes diabetic medication. My father passed away this week. It was caused by his diabetic medication. He was on metformin for years and years and years. He had no issues with his metformin. This last year, his doctor changed him over to a new medication that's out, starts with a J. I'm sure you've seen the lady singing and dancing. And one of the side effects to this medication is called foreigner's disease. It is a flesh-eating bacteria, gangrene, that eats you from your genitals inside out. By the time that you see symptoms, it's pretty much too late. Most people who get it pass away. I have been doing some research on it over the last couple of days, and there are class action lawsuits out there, but don't wait. Don't wait. One of the first side effects is a yeast infection, and most men don't watch for yeast infections. Hell, most women don't watch for yeast infections, but men really don't. So do yourself a favor. If you or someone you know is taking diabetic medication that starts with a J and has a singing and dancing commercial, please talk to your doctor about foreigners. Because once you know you have it, it's too late.
All right. So that was a PSA about foreigners disease, which comes from making, like, I guess, a specific sort of cocktail, and that changing your diabetic medication kind of builds up in your body. And then let me just ask you, are you familiar with a lot of older people? And I know my grandmother used to have her little cocktail. She'd have like a slew of pills on the dresser, and she had to take this one and that one, the water pill, this pill, the sugar pill, and then at a certain point, right before she passed, she told me she just wanted to stop taking the meds. It was just way too much. What's your thoughts on that? And what's your thought? You know, what's your thoughts on the video and your thoughts on the history and the way that the medical profession gives the cocktail of sorts to people
And
in
that's
the
exactly what they're doing. They're
yeah.
trying to blend, I mean, even medication that's prescribed to you, it's okay. They give you this, take this 3 times a day, right? With food. So you're ingesting this 3 times a day with food. And my wonder is, why isn't it long acting? It's like, because people got to do this. I got to wake up and take medicine. Oh, I got it's lunchtime, got to take medicine. Oh, take this before bedtime.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the more those pills start lining up against your thing, because this one you tell them, oh, well, this caused me indigestion. So they give you a pill for the indigestion. So this
Right.
caused,
Right.
but now I'm constipated. And they give you a pill for the constipation. And so,
Right.
I went back through just to, they had one time just for when you're taking pain medications that can make you constipation. It is like a cocktail. I never thought about it, but here and they're constantly feeding it to you. And I'm thinking, taking it, because it's like, oh, if I don't take it, this happens. At one time when I got to a doctor to wean me off of these things, he said, nope, we're taking you off everything. Stop. 1 week. He said, just 1 week. He goes, now if you feel this, then we'll reach out and you'll take whatever. So literally, I have then thought about how many times did I travel somewhere and forget that particular pill, or or
Oh man, they don't got you. They don't have you on the cocktail, do they?
yes, you can
Oh
train on that
Lord.
stuff. It's like it's controlling. And so when I started looking at, going to a lot of the health stores and stuff like that, but not even doing that, going back to like what grandma used to do. They had all kinds of pills for unconscious metamucil and all this other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
with pills. And one day I sat there and said, wait a minute, my great grandmother used to drink this prune juice. And I sent the picture to my kid. I said, go to Walmart and get me this, and that prune juice, lit the fire. Okay, but there are things that even my dad used to boil, spices and things from the yard.
Yeah, yeah. My grandfather used to boil orange pills.
Yeah, and that was one of them. And dill and all these kind of different lemongrass and stuff like that.
Some of that stuff used to stink.
So because you go in your yard, so you can literally smell what type it is and stuff.
Right.
You bring in lime grass to kind of clear. You're not supposed to ingest that, but then you got dill. People are buying fresh dill at these markets. These markets are probably just going into the yards and picking them. Like, here,
Oh
I'll clear your
boy.
weeds out for you.
I hope not.
I'll clear your weeds out for you, because that's all they are.
Right.
And so just really trying to change, because that's really controlling. And I was just thinking, I said, how many years I've been doing this? And now, they're going to give me this for this, for this. And I'm like, I stopped. And then just like, okay, take what you need. you feel that, take what you need. Don't stop what you need, take what you need, and then get back with them. But
Yeah.
really, it becomes a controlling kind of thing.
Hey, let me know. Let me know if y'all at home dig this analogy. It's almost like when you're eating at a holiday meal and you combining too many things at once, and then it'll leave you feeling sick, or leave you feeling bloated, or leave you feeling, whatever it make you feel.
Vomiting.
Sugar rush, vomiting. I remember one family get together. We had to call the EMTs for a guest because he's older and he's not supposed to be putting it down like that. But he must have been enjoying himself. But he paid for it. He left the house. He left the house in a gurney. I was that's like that always stuck with me. You know what I mean? That gotta feel like. And now that it's medicine, how does that make your body feel? Let us know at home, man. We in the up and up and up crew. We're older. Let us know if you ever ran into cocktail problems. That means too many meds in your system and it made you feel crummy. And then you knew you had to take one because the doctor recommended it, but it just became too much of a thing for your body to handle. Let us know in the chat. Let us know where you're at. No shame. You know what I mean? No echo chambers here. We are the Real HD Show. I want to get into one more video. It's called the eardrum. It's called the eardrum wound. Again, this is from Sincere.
Ears
He
phenomenal.
sent a he sent a really interesting video, and I wanted to play it for the people because I don't know if people really like think about this much, but it's real, and I want to get everybody's opinion. Lock in, Real HD Show. Check it out.
Actually, a womb. Every word you hear, every song, every whisper, it's a seed planted deep inside you. It grows, nourished by your subconscious mind. Good or bad, whatever you listen to will be conceived, and eventually it will be born into your reality. Guard your ears like you guard your mind. Only let in what you want to give life to. The power of manifestation starts with what you allow in. Comment the word ear, and we'll send you something that uses this power to plant the seeds of only the things you want in your life. Your ear is a womb. Nurture it with love, positivity, and affirmation, and watch your reality transform.
Wow, good stuff. I mean, let us know. Do you think it's good stuff? Let us know at home. We're rocking on 5 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, D Live, Trovo Nation, Mob Crush. Oh, Mob Crush, we in here heavy. Salute to the Mob Crush Rebels. We appreciate you guys always holding us down with the large crowd. What do you think, sis?
And the words.
Do you agree though? Do you think the ear is like a womb because it's so
Oh,
connected to the cerebral cortex and the pineal gland of sorts,
yeah.
and it
I
can
mean,
help you to deliver or I guess manifest you
right.
know brain children so that your life turns it actualizes the way you want it to. What do you think?
Well, people always say to protect your ears, and not just physically, but socially, spiritually, emotionally, but really protect your ears because the first gland is the protective, but outside of that, everything is very thin. So even sound could hurt your eardrums. So I always say, so I think, yeah, it is a portal, you know. So I'd say
Nice.
that.
Nice, and it's all connected. It's interesting how it's connected with your retina. It's interesting
Mhm.
how it's connected with the balance of the body.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? Like if someone
playing
came up to
doctors.
you and took the palm of their hand and hit you in the ear, you get vertigo, you get dizzy, like a
Hmm.
boxer who gets punched in the side of the head and they get vertigo and they fall out. What was his name? One of the Kennedys died that way, right? In the airplane crash because they said he was up too high and got vertigo and the
Oh,
planes
was that Robert? No, he was on the train.
he spiraled out and crashed. It was one of the Kennedys, one of the young ones. And I remember they saying this was like in the like mid 90s, maybe early 2000s. He crashed out through vertigo. Um,
Oh.
due to loss of balance within the ear, and he couldn't pilot the ship anymore, and
Hmm.
the airplane, not the ship. It wasn't a spaceship, the airplane, and crashed out. So I just thought that was interesting, and I also thought about the manifestation of self through what you hear, through what you ingest through your ears.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you study ingesting, craziness, then if your environment turns into a crazy cycle, it has a correlation to what you're ingesting through your ears. What do you think?
I think it does. You got to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. Okay, it's like ear, nose, and throat. It's like all that's
Absolutely.
connected.
Absolutely. So that was the end.
Womb.
Sorry, let me turn that off. It just runs if I don't turn it off. So that was our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for a brand new you, because we need cell power, deprived of it because of the pandemic. And so way too many of our folks pass because of lack of it. So we wanted to just give you guys that sort of uh, information. And do with it what you will. We're not trying to, be a, finger wag or what have you. Just introduce some, some awareness so you can move fearless. All right, we moving on. I was gonna do the melanated mental health moment, but I thought my homegirl was gonna join tonight. Miss B down in the ATL, if you listening, come on through. This was your segment, and I was gonna use your post. So I save it for Wednesday, and then you jump on with us Wednesday, and then we'll go over the post that you and I participated. Ace Metaphors in the post. He had a lot of things to say about, and I usually don't do relationship type stuff. But this one, the way that he said it and the message he had to deliver was really interesting. And I thought we should go over it on a Real HD show. But I'll wait for Miss B to jump on next episode or following episodes, and then we'll do it then. Um, Hey, sis, did you hear about the Bed Bath and Beyond KKK thing?
Uh-huh. And saw it, the candles. I said, now they know.
Yeah, ain't that crazy?
They know when they made that.
Nuts, man. Nuts on nuts. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, initially, I'm gonna pull some things up about it. What are your initial thoughts on that? And did they make too much of it, or
No,
are they reaching?
like when whoever made it, or and whoever signed off on it, they knew what it looked like. What was the name of it? Because it looked like the little ghost face things on. I mean, it looked like the little KKK thing rather than a ghost face. And I'm like, they knew. But like they say in this world, all publicity is good publicity. Bed Bath and Beyond been closing their doors everywhere, and
Yeah, let me, because I thought I had pulled something.
like we get them to come here some kind of way. Like they're gonna think they're gonna still see those on the shelf.
Yeah, they pulled them right away.
Yeah.
From the shelves.
I'm like,
but there's an interesting piece about this that's really interesting, and it's the owner. The owner is really interesting. So I'll pull up the article right now. I'm going to share my screen, and we can go through the paces of it all and see what we can see. Join the show while me and Aurora are rocking out on the Bed Bath and Beyond piece, and you give us your opinion on what you think, because it's crazy and a half. And you could tell us what you think. What do you guys think? It's right here.
Snowden, that's what it was called.
Yeah. Now it looks like some origami, right?
Almost right. Like if you look at it, it looks like they were making those, those paper snowflakes.
Yeah, like paper mache or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we used to cut them. They used to show us how to make snowflakes for the trees. So that's what it looks like, if you look at the whole thing from to the bottom. But having that picture and having it edited just like that, somebody knew what they were doing. So someone knew what they were doing. Because you have to look at the whole thing, and it was supposed to be a snowflake.
Yeah, exactly. Are people too sensitive about these things? What do you think?
I think we are getting a little over the top and to fail to laugh, and that's why you're more miserable, because you fail to and just say, I mean, okay, there's I guess a whole 5 generations that didn't cut out paper snowflakes. Okay, I did. Okay. And they folded that paper, and then you make certain cuts, and you open it up, and it's a snowflake. So it is what it is.
Right.
People better learn to laugh and smile.
Do we make too much of this, or do people? Let us know at home. Sister Aurora is going to answer it, but y'all let us know at home too. Do we make too much of these things, or because we've been here for 400 plus years, should America be more responsible with the way they go about conducting their business. Because remember the Gucci sweater from a couple of
Mhm.
years
Well,
ago,
that right there, what you just
where
said.
you pulled it up and it had like the little jigaboo lips
Yeah.
on the turtleneck of the sweater. Now that was blatant, and the way they were advertising it is you would wear it up to your nose, and all you would see
Uh-huh.
is the little Sambo lips. You know what I'm saying? So there was really no mistaking what that was about. You know what I mean? That was
Right.
directly. You know what I mean?
Mhm. But
So
even this, I mean, because when I looked at it, I said, I gotta see what this thing is looking like that, they're talking about. And then when it came in, when I finally saw the picture, I said, oh, I said, they're talking about a snowflake. So for me, I thought it was like, yo, okay, come on, y'all step back, breathe, woosah. Okay, let's just take a breath. Okay,
mm,
everything ain't everything. And yes, there's a lot that needs corrected, but to each its own. I never give anybody the right to not feel the way they feel. I'm not going to do that. But when I saw it, I was like, wow, it's a snowflake. But
right.
again, there's probably like generations of people that came after me. They ain't never cut no snowflake. They never had to make no paper snowflake. We made those and hung them on the tree too. So, but now nobody does that. Because when you look at, see now, it was in this view, that's what you're seeing is this and this, right?
Right.
And
That's the like sensational view of it all, right?
right, this was the sensation of it because when you click on the thing, when I went to look for it, and like I said, when I clicked on it, I said a snowflake. Like, oh wow. And it's this was the second thing that like in I think it was Instagram I was looking at, and where you slide it over and then you see this. So that right there sensationalizes for you because now people looking at that can't unsee the hooded man right there.
Mm-hmm.
They can't unsee it after they've done it. But like I said, when I first looked at it, I said it's a snowflake. But okay, I understand where I am in the world and what we do in schools nowadays. We don't do that anymore. We don't make snowflakes for the tree.
So what's interesting about this is, we in the Aquarius age. We in the age where, that air age where that boomerang comes back to you, that karma. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So if you're not operating in righteousness, if you ain't moving the way you're supposed to move in regard to people, that dirt ain't gonna be hidden very long. It's gonna be exposed. You're gonna get found out for what you do in one way
Mm-hmm.
or another. So the owner of Bed Bath and Beyond is L Groups, right? And L Groups is owned by this guy here, Wesley. No, I'm sorry,
Whitner.
Les Wessner.
Yes.
Yeah, and he owns Victoria's Secret.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. So now we talking about prison industrial complex, convict leasing, all of that. So now if you buying Bed Bath and Beyond, you're also contributing to the prison industrial complex. Hello,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then also we find out that this dude he was called the master of malls. So back in the between the 40s and the 60s, when the mall designs were first coming out, he had a lot of he what does he own right now? He has Forever 21. He has Bed Bath and Beyond. He has Victoria's Secret. He has a lot of like fashion based companies that a lot of young people love to patronize. A lot of women love to patronize, and
Mm-hmm.
they buy his stuff up by the truckload. And of course, Victoria's Secrets has prison contracts involved with their clothing. But that's not all. Your boy is down with Epsteezy. That's right.
Human
Epstein
trafficking.
Island. He one of them. He's one of them one percenters that like the baby oil parties. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, You can go on. Where did I find this? This is by Gabriel Sherman in Vanity Fair, The Mogul and the Monster. Inside Jeffrey Epstein's decades-long relationship with his biggest client, the billionaire retail magnate Leslie Wexner. Wow.
Wow.
So you see how, even though you might not be the Diddy of it all,
Mm-hmm.
you getting found out.
Because that's what's coming up next.
You
They're gonna
getting
do the
found
same
out.
way. You're gonna see a Diddy profile just like this. I may not be Gabriel Sherman, but it's gonna be somebody, and you're gonna see all of those people involved.
So not only that, this guy has a lobby in Congress that he gives millions of dollars to every year. And if they called him one of the masters of the malls,
Mm-hmm.
that also means, if you guys remember our show on planned obsolescence. So a lot of the American products were made at the turn of the Great Depression. They were made to break, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, got families wrapped up in holidays and special occasions, and the wedding industry got really, really big, and all those products were made to break. So you could do what? Buy them over.
Another one. Yeah.
That's called planned obsolescence. It's the same thing going on with these cell phones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You get that download on your cell phone. It slows down your cell phone speed, and now you think your phone is broken, and then now you run into T-Mobile or Verizon or wherever you at to get the latest cell phone, because you think your cell phone is broken, but it's really just jacked up with spyware, spam, and stuff like that. So now this dude is down with Epstein. He's a master of malls, right?
Human trafficker.
Oh, whoa. Talk to us. I didn't know about that. What's that about?
That's where they got all those young girls to participate in those kind of Epstein parties, like the Diddy party,
Oh, okay.
and everything that was. Remember, Elliot Spitzner was caught up there with, human trafficker of young women, and this time the trafficking took place where it happened in plain sight. So, women would go home because someone would threaten, they got drunk or whatever, took pictures, poses, and stuff like that, and then threatened them to show it to everybody, So unless they came back the next night, and so that was
little blackmail in the place,
yeah, that was like trafficking in plain sight. And I'm like, I used to be like, look, take the 20-minute lecture from whoever your family member is. Tell them, let's get it cleaned up. Like, okay,
I like what you said. Yo, just eat the lecture. You gonna get it, but eat it. But then let's get rid of this bum, right?
I'm like, come on. But that's happened, and unfortunately, it's happened to young ladies. When I used to work on Long Island and work on victims advocate through AmeriCorps and all. And one of the things was in the schools, the young girls were telling me what was going on. And, you had young girls telling me that the little 15-year-old is the pimp, and things are really happening in that realm. So, that was trafficking in plain sight. They didn't take your girls or they didn't take your boys. They let them come home every night after they did some stuff they shouldn't have been doing, or been done some stuff that shouldn't have been done to them. And that's the prime reality of it.
Yeah, Lifetime. I was forced to watch it with my wife. Lifetime did a really good series of this with what was the sister's name? Megan Good. Her daughter was kidnapped and put into a child trafficking situation, sex trafficking situation, and then she had to rescue her. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. One of her first solo movies. You can check it out. But back to this is Western goofy. So we got master of malls, child trafficker, as we just found out. We got the Western group that owns Victoria's Secret, Forever 21, and probably a gang of other name brand stores that you run off and spend all your money on, and not
Mm-hmm.
understand where the lineage of where those companies come from and what's going down with it. But he's also involved in this.
No.
Yeah. He's part of the APAC people. He's part of the pro Israel crowd. You know what I mean? I mean, he wouldn't be the only one, but it's good to know who you messing with. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if you are making a crucial decision between a black designer or a melanated designer and going to one of these stores, you can make an educated decision.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What you don't have to tell me where you lie on the Israel side of things unless you want to. Um, but knowing that he is giving to that cause, he's helping to fund that level of genocide and what I would like to call neo-colonialism. You know what I mean? I think that's a straight land grab going on over there. And now it's ugly. Now it's a full-blown war with America involved. And what's your thoughts on that? You know, what do you think about this dude Ressler? And it all kind of he would have stayed pretty buried, pretty hidden if it wasn't for this.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody looking up his shit.
Right.
Everybody's in his mix right now.
Right.
What
Want
you,
to
what you
know?
think?
Yeah. No. And that and fortunately or unfortunately, how people see it, that's what it takes. The people are digging and digging, and they gonna find, what you do in the dark. Okay, will come to the
Mm-hmm.
light. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that reminded me of when you're saying people, he would have been under the radar had it been for this. Now, one, somebody in somewhere had manufactured to do this, okay, because they wanted us to follow the money to this bigger global issue.
Mm.
And we do. It's the same. It's the same. We followed the money during the divestment from South Africa. Businesses, okay, all of a sudden businesses are in the names because we follow that money and then find out that they're helping, provide money to continue the oppression of folks in South Africa. And that was years and years of, hey, we know how to do this. And that's where everybody started follow the money, follow the money. You want to
Yeah,
find something, follow the money.
the early hip hop generation of the mid '80s sunk Reebok as
Mm-hmm.
as an international sneaker brand
Mm-hmm.
over their investment in apartheid.
Yep.
They weren't relevant for years after that, and it took way up until Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway and all of that to revive the company with those
Mm-hmm.
Reebok pumps. But before that, they were done. They were donezo.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us for that. We took a lot of
Mm-hmm.
companies down just off the sheer unity and
Right.
togetherness of, you know, making sure that folks divested from apartheid, which is really dope. Which
Yep.
means that we can do it again if we want to.
Exactly.
We could do it here. We could do it with this joker right here. So if you don't like what's going on in Palestine right now, you don't like the way the people are being treated in the Gaza and what they're doing in Lebanon and what they're doing in Iran and, the savage nature of it all. I'm not saying that those people are innocent either. War is war. But we do know that those people were living in an apartheid for a very long time in Gaza
Mm-hmm.
or in Israel's shadow. Let us know what you think, man. Put it in the comments, man. Do you think that it was an apartheid that Israel was living under? I mean, not Israel, Gaza, the Palestinians were living under, or do you think that all's fair? All's fair in the land grab. And I mean, we can go deep. We can go way back to the ancient Sumerians and the ancient Mycenaeans and the Minoans. We can go all the way back to that. But as far as the people who occupied the land most recently, Peace, brother Mozzie. How you doing?
I'm all right. How's it
Welcome
going?
to the welcome to the show, bro. We talking about this Bed Bath and Beyond piece. Have you familiar with that?
Uh, yeah, I saw that. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, man. So what happened is, you know how the Talib that I am, it just led me down a rabbit hole. You know, age of Aquarius. You can't hide nothing. It's all out there. So it's owned by this dude named Les Wessner. Les Wessner came up as a master of morals, right? So back to our old conversation on planned obsolescence. So he's down with that group that injected the American economy with a lot of planned obsolescence. So people had to rebuy the things that they bought from him. And right now he owns like Forever 21 and a lot of like modern retail. He also owns Victoria's Secret. So that's all prison industrial complex, private prison contracts, so on and so forth. And then you get into this. The Mogul and the Monster inside Jeffrey Epstein's decade-long relationship with his biggest client. And then Sister Aurora just told me that there's some info out there about him possibly being a sex trafficker. Because if he was involved in with the Epsteins of it all, there might be some connectivity to that. Did they take the little girls to his stores and dress them? Like, like what's really good,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let me take you to my man's store and get you some short shorts, And then, of course, there's this here. He's involved in the pro-Israel lobby group, giving major money to the foo-foo going on over there overseas. That's now a full-blown war, proxy war of America, but full-blown war nonetheless. Your thoughts, man? What do you think, man?
Well, it's just, kind of what people have suspected for some time.
Oh, you knew about this cat?
Say that again?
You knew of him? You knew of his dealings and all of that?
Lex Wexner, yeah. I've heard him in the past and, what he was tied to and but, we can't be surprised that a lot of these guys who are Jewish in origin, especially these rich ones, they do support Israel.
Well, now see, I didn't know if he was Jewish or not. I didn't go that far.
Yeah. So, it's the same old stuff that's been going on. Some people get to hide better than others. Some just don't get talked about.
Right.
Some kind of a little smoother in handling their business. But then eventually something occurs where they slip up. And a lot of times they slip up because they're arrogant. The arrogance is such that they make a mistake.
Right.
Or they do something out of the ordinary. And
right.
so now they get exposed. And this is just one of those things where something was done out of the ordinary. And so, of course, we see it. We're going to start investigating it. And there's everything out in the open. I mean, it wasn't like you had to dig into some obscure newspapers to find its information. I mean, you're in what most people would consider mainstream news, Vanity Fair.
I
mean,
Brother Mozzie hit it on the head because as I was saying, that they can do it in plain sight. They're hidden, it's in plain sight.
Yes, sir.
And they all do. It's just how they keep it quiet. But what they do is they disguise this stuff. See, people want to be in fashion and people want to be seen. And because we have this insatiable desire that when someone walks down the street and everybody like, oh my God, yeah, oh my God, there he is. That we're willing to do a lot of stuff, and I hate to bring up the cause as if, these women, they were some of the rejects. You know what I mean? And so here it is 30, 40 years later, you trying to get this man for you. Here's your last hurrah to get that last, little bit of money while you're on Social Security. Let me get that last hit. So these people know what's going on. When you're going up there with the cars, or when you going to the when you down with Lex and Epstein, all these guys, you can do one or two things. You can sit back and say, I don't think I want to do this, or you can say, well, this is what you got to do. I guess I'm in.
Sister Aurora said a little while ago, she was like, yo, just take the 20-minute hour lecture. Just take the lecture from your people and get this dude blown up. Like just take it, just eat it. take care of your business,
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And think about this. If these things happen to us, or them, I should say, and you're traumatized by it, you ain't coming back. But what happens is our desires for fame, a lot of them don't have fortune, the unfortunate thing. They get fame, they get to fly around the world, they get to be seen. Their desire for that is so high that they will allow themselves to be put in these situations, and some of them partake with no problem. I'm not talking about minors now. I'm talking about,
consenting adults.
Mm-hmm.
And you're an adult at 18, so you may not be that smart, but this give you 19, 20. But the reality is, if someone says, I got to oil you up, and this is what we about to do, right from wrong. If you want to be down with that or not. But
it doesn't take a whole bottle of baby oil.
Yeah. And when you think about it, at 18, 19, 20, we speak real on a real HD. We ain't nothing but little horn dogs and freaks anyway.
That's true. That's why everybody was going crazy on that Freaknik documentary. They was like, no,
oh Lord, no,
don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. I was only down there for a day.
There you go. And so let's be real. When most of us in general have our sexual reawakening, it's usually 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And, let's be real. You find that one that you really like, or for some reason that just does it for you, especially for boys. And I'm just speaking, this is what I tell my daughters. Once boys get it at 8, when they get it at that age, shit, half the things we do all day long is about when we're going to get it next.
Right.
Great.
Let's call it like it is. So, and then if you find some girl who likes you, and she wants it just as much as you do. So it's not like, these things are, and that's the part that we have to kind of differentiate between people who were snatched, trafficked, who went willingly, who was down with the baby oil, who was down with the soap and whatever else they used, and who was disgusted by it. Now you may have pushed the envelope and then was like, damn, I can't believe I did that. And then they say, well, you coming? Oh, we're going to be there next week. I'll send the jet. Well, guess I guess I go do it again.
I'll meet you in the hidden tunnels, right?
Ain't nothing wrong.
There you go.
Singing to yourself.
There you go. R. Kelly was singing that song.
Some interesting lyrics, man. So
yeah, and so we have to look at some of this stuff, man, and just say, yes, these dudes were out there. They were doing some sad stuff, but we also have to be. It's like the parent who know their kids doing something they shouldn't be doing, but act like they're in denial.
As a female, I'll say, we have to sit there and. My parents used to say, when we walk out the door, make good choices or make good decisions. Okay? And so and I'm like, so let's listen, and I got 2 girls, like, okay, let me replay this for you. Okay. And And because I always tell him, well, my dad told me, he goes, there is nothing called spontaneity in your life. And he's like, what part do you not know what's happening when you take your panties off? He said, or when you pull your skirt up, or when you, so he used to put the onus on me. It's like, look, don't act like you don't know when you know.
Mm.
Okay. And if you're in an inebriated state, then you made a wrong decision. You did this, you did that. But we have to be truthful with ourselves, or knowing, we all were young once, or they used to say young and foolish, certain consequences come with that, you know. Ask a lot of
Hey.
former grandparents, okay, at the age of 40, okay,
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Gina, hold on real quick. I want to shout out somebody that gave us some love. Shout out to Gina Rambert. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the heart. Please share the show. And if you feel like it at some point, you could join us up on the stage. We would love to hear from you, or just throw your piece in the comment section and let's have a higher discussion. But continue, Sister Aurora. I just want to thank her for joining the
No,
show.
listen, we have to be truthful, or honest about what we know. You know, it's like I said, I always sit there and tell my kids when they're, especially when they've done something effed up. I'm like, turn to page 355, and they're like, "Oh, here she go." I said, 355. I wrote that. Okay, what you're about to do or did, it's already been done. Okay, and I
thank
wrote it
you.
out so you can see. So we sometimes we really have to remember, and it's really a balancing act, because you want. Well, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know one thing. I said, I want my daughters not to be responsible for ruining the life of any other individual. you know, and there are things that can come out of our mouths that can shut somebody down, that if they came out of somebody else's, it wouldn't. And that's just an agenda phase. So I'm always saying, make sure your choices, you made good decisions. It was your choice. But otherwise, it's just certain things that a woman can scream. I mean, not so much as a Black woman, but you've seen the stories of women screaming rape, or screaming some kind of assault, and you go in there trying to box somebody, and because you get beat, it's assault. What I mean? But I'm sorry, I grew up with brothers too, so any sisters out there don't
And
understand.
think about this part. And think about the part where, you know, we always talk about the drugs that being involved, but sometimes what you're doing, it's kind of it don't sit well with you. But
Mhm.
because you want to be there, take a few hits, drink something, take a little hit of something, drop those inhibitions. I don't have to, I don't my just get to that point. I'm all over the place, but you drop your inhibitions and you just say, "Hey, I'm just going to do this. I'm here to have a good time, and hopefully, when it's all said and done, I got me a modeling career, or I got me found me a nice
Reap the
older
sad,
man or
respect
sugar
yourself.
daddy, or say it again.
As a reap the said, respect yourself.
Yeah,
So, there's a big, yeah. And that's just for especially young people today, male and female, and someone has to teach you that level, because it's not all about getting a hit and then making it quick. You're gonna be a dried up star by 24, 25. So but there's a lot out here that we have to really understand. And like, as a teacher, we always sit there and say, I don't know who left your house, okay? But the person who got here ain't the person you're talking about. That's always told my parents. I'm like, okay, come on, let's get some truth dialogue. Who you had in front of you is not the same person who walked the streets and came into these doors. Okay. I was like, oh, not my child, not my child. Yeah, it's your child. Okay. And
mm,
and in these days of, we have area units, and everybody has to ring cameras and stuff like that. And tell you, every day on this app, you'll see someone posting, whose kid is this? You know, because they're going to do doorbell ditch and run or whatever it is they're doing, or taking packages off of steps and stuff like that. I'm like, we're in the most surveilled world. And so, come on, be honest now. Okay, you know that's your boy. Okay. You know, don't have us opening up your garage door and seeing all them Amazon boxes that you ain't never ordered, you know, but we got to be honest with ourselves. That's all.
Yes, yes. So I wanted to play something before we get ready to get out of here, because I'm not going to get into the harp in the hood, because it needs to breathe. So I'll get to that. I'll get to that Wednesday. But for right now, I wanted to Nina Turner is on fire right now for a lot of reasons. And I wanted to play the clip of her talking about with some, political talking heads. And she's talking about empowerment of black men within the Democratic Party. And I'm glad you two are on, because I can get your really astute opinion on where she's coming from and what could be done to remedy this. Let's check this out real quick, and y'all let us know what y'all think on the flip side of it. Check it out, Real HD Show.
Black men. And I think Hispanic men probably feel the same way. And I say this because they weaponize identity. When and where we enter, who we are, how we identify is important to who we are, just like our fingerprints. But if you're not going to use my identity to advance a social justice cause, and you're just going to use my identity as a blunt force object, now I got a problem. And so what the Democratic Party does, they put black women on a pedestal and they say, we're the mothers of the movement, or we saved the party. But Democrats use it in a way that alienates other folks, and it offends me. So when I talk to black men across this country, they don't see themselves in this party. It's one thing to recognize the power and prowess of black women and the sacrifices that we make. It is another thing to put us above black men. The black struggle, black men and black women have to be together. We don't have the luxury to be separated, and so I resent the Democratic Party for doing that. And so black men do not see themselves in the party.
All right. And then, of course, she was on CNN, and she had some really big words. Y'all like the circles or the squares better?
Circle looks good.
Circle looks good? All right. So let's rock with the circle. So she was also on CNN, and she had some very interesting things to say about, Barack Obama, his recent rant about black men not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris, saying that, he made some very sharp points about, black men not wanting to believe in a woman or follow a woman. And he made some points about, black men being xenophobic and all of those sorts of things. So are you left, right, or center on what Sister Nina Turner was saying as it relates to what Barack Obama just recently did? And I'll let y'all have the floor. Anybody could jump in, and you could jump in at home. Please put it in the comments. Let us know what you think about what Barry was talking about over the weekend, and whether that was right and exact or not.
No, well, I heard both of them, and sis is right to a point, because the conversations this weekend and on different shows started out with, or why aren't the black men going to vote for Kamala, or what is the black men, and it started out as that show, and then by the time we hear Nina Turner, and Nina Turner is never bitten her tongue on that fact that she doesn't claim not to be with the Democratic Party, but she also sits there and wants to call out their faults, and let everybody know, hey, there's faults here, and if you guys don't recognize the faults in our own parties, then there's something wrong. So she's really blowing that clarinet for that. But both issues was on and correct, because if you even been on a lot of social media this week, and that was the conversation: who's not voting for Now we got a lot of people, well, no, half of the Republicans running away from Trump. But if you have this, who's the other person that's run? Like, I'm like, there's another person running. They never showed them, but they were talking about them. And it's like, so you're either saying you're going to throw your vote because you're not going to vote for Kamala, but you're definitely not voting for Trump. And so you're going to put your vote here, or, they were talking about where is it going to go, and did we have the luxury for it to go that place? So I heard both of them. I think both of them are correct because those are the conversations that's been on, on LinkedIn. If you can go to LinkedIn, you flow down there, you'll see a couple of posts from Nelson George in them. I mean, it's been a conversation.
Brother Mozzie, your thoughts, bro?
I think here's I think what we have to look at is that Black people have really suffered and Black men in particular have really, when we sit back and try to take as much of an objective view as possible, Black men have really suffered under a democratic regime. And part of it is because of the promotion of Black feminism that has taken place, the promotion of woke culture. When we start looking at, incarceration, things of that nature, that stuff was never done under any type of Republican administration. It was always set in hyper speed under the Democratic administrations. And Democrats have never really done anything for Black men, because if we spoke out against trying to be a man, then now we have this, where they didn't use toxic masculinity, 10, 15 years ago. But, we were looked at as brutish, misogynistic, and the list went on. When you start looking at all the negative imagery that was put out there as it relates to Black people, Black men, it was in hyperspeed under Democratic administrations. Whenever there was something that they wanted to talk about in terms of our faults, things of that nature, it was always under a Democratic administration. And I'm not sitting there saying that we need to be Republican, because that may not be our answer either. But if you have an unfounded loyalty to a particular group that has systematically, historically, and systematically have put you down, have marginalized you, it makes sense. So what the sister's saying makes sense. Brothers don't feel no attachment to the Democratic Party. So it's very hard for us right now to actually say we want to vote Democrat. And thanks to some of the work being done by, some of the brothers out on the West Coast, we starting to have the manosphere, whether people like it or not, but, we're starting to have these discussions around what has happened to Black men in the past 50 years. And those discussions that we're having, we're starting to realize, like, wow, we had to take a lot of mess. We had to take the back seat on a lot of stuff. We don't talk about, and, I'm listening to the data that Tommy Curry puts out when he talks about interpartner violence, and how much the data shows that women have committed just as much and as many violent atrocities towards Black men than Black men compared against women. But we can't talk about that in terms of what happened to men. And we don't want to talk about that. So, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, man. I've been rushing around a lot today.
No, that's okay, because we got a comment by Howard Eagle, and he chimes in, and he wrote a thesis. Peace, brother. I ain't heard from you in a while. Glad you could join the show. I said, where Black folks in particular, but not exclusively, are concerned, there's a viable choice in the upcoming 2024 presidential election. First and foremost, it is important to understand that, in addition to the political blindness, ignorance, and naivete Greed and selfishness are important elements relative to drinking the electoral Kool-Aid of white supremacy, especially and particularly on the part of black so-called political leadership, actually misleadership. Very interesting. And then he gives a link for all those that are interested. Dr. Cornell West, Melina Abdullah, for all the reasons outlined above. I'm with them.
Well, I think what has to happen is shows like this and other places. As men, we have to really get out here and start. And I hate to say, take our rightful place, but we need to stand up more. We know and we've seen what has happened to us. You just use Rochester, for example. Everywhere you turn, there's a sister with an ED and executive leadership and some abbreviated programming, like to be called doctor, that's running an agency and don't have a clue. And they're exacerbating the problems that we have. I'm liking, Steve, what does Steve Copley say? Name the names. Let's call it the way we see it. The way crap is right now, we got to call it out. And this is one of the things that we have to identify. And then we look at the atrocities that's taking place in the Rochester City School District. It's run by women. Where's the men? I can think about, the men that I had growing up in the district. Everything was in order. I think I turned out who I am, not because of what I had at home, but because the male teachers that I had when I was in school. And we have to understand that if the Democratic Party is going to move forward, if a third party is going to move forward, if a Republican Party is going to move forward, Black men have to be an active participant. And if you don't put us down, and we ain't down, stuff ain't gonna go the way we want. We're gonna continue with the same mess that we've been having.
So, what do you guys think are some solutions to? I know emasculating brothers is the American pastime, for lack of a better term. We just talked about the origin of the Incredible Hulk and how originally the template for the Incredible Hulk character was a brother.
Yeah.
And when they finally got to the main result or the main outcome, he was this brutish, angry, savage type of person that could only be tamed by a white woman. So,
it's the same thing with King Kong, right?
King Kong too. There you go.
That's what I said.
There you go. And now, the young kids call it, snow bunnyism. If the brothers date out and they with the girls and the YTs and now it's a snow bunnyism that they got going, and it's just same thing, different day, different name.
Right.
So how do we conquer the emasculation so that, like you said, brothers can step into their rightful place within the frame of being here for 400 years plus, because we have a unique ancestors, we have a unique sojourn in this place, mixed in all kinds of forms and fashions, native, African, Hispanic, we got it all mixed up within the frame of us. So we're definitely tied to the land. Nobody could ever claim that we're not. There's just too much evidence for that. But how do we make how are we empowered within that frame to move this thing along so that, it's not another year going by and Sister Nina Turner is like, y'all shitting on the black men again. You know what I'm saying? Like Barack is wagging the finger like daddy, like, you better vote down ballot, like, or you're a bad boy. I'm coming for you.
And one of the things that we got to do is brothers here's a perfect opportunity. Once again, we have a chance to create a viable third party. And brothers need to get out there and vote for a third party. I mean, that's a start. I don't think Cornell knows how to run the country, but I think it sends a strong message and it starts to move us forward in terms of us getting what we need and what we want. to start solving some of these problems. Because if we know that big voting block, and right now, black men will determine this on how this election is going to go, because they're pretty much neck and neck. So, we need to. Jeez, man, we need to stand up as men and say, hey, you know what? None of the above, and none of the above are the donkey and the elephant. We need to go ahead and just make this independent vote for a third party, and let's see how the numbers fall where they may. And now we'll have a viable vehicle to start trying to make some changes.
Sister Aurora, what do you think of getting? I'm going to read the comment in a minute. What do you think of brothers and sisters also getting a share as electors, so that we are better positioned to actually be in the crux of who, puts the preso there in the seat? You know what I mean? First to sit as king. You know what I mean?
So you mean to add them to
be electors? Like, we don't know who they are. They're like this
right? Oh, like
phantom group that nobody knows, but they're making all the decisions regardless of your popular vote. And is it time for them to start, breaking bread that way, or should we just keep voting blue no matter who and no matter what?
Well, my thing is, even though we look for unified fronts, to each his own. I mean, although we look for united fronts, it's to each its own. And I could say one thing and walk into a booth and say another. We have, people have to understand what is the electoral college. Why are some states got 11 votes, and others got 4, or how many New York has? I forgot.
It's based on population, quote unquote.
Yeah, but
because
because that kind of the system, and I don't know if y'all remember way back in your history class when they started to explain how the electoral college was. It was like, teachers trying to explain Common Core. They're like, oh no, because
right.
it doesn't make sense, and no one has tried to make it make sense. So when you're looking at the vote, the elections or any elections, trying to look at it through the lens of the electoral college, well, I don't know, because it's for millions of folks, it doesn't make sense, but yet it is what it is, kind of thing. And you wouldn't use the popular vote. So why are we each saying, our votes count, and not use the popular vote? The majority win vote. What is the disadvantage or advantage of doing it that way? So until I understand that, it's to each his own. You do what you do with the booth.
So Liberty Twitcher says, but they always tell us if we don't vote liberal, then there's supposedly something wrong with us. Is that true? If we don't vote, was that the guilt shaming that your man Barry was trying to do over the weekend?
Yep. Barry is living a beautiful life. He was, the powers that be put him in office. He carried out the agenda, and he can't forget where he comes from. And when you got to bring him out, because here's the deal. Obamas have a lot of money, but like a lot of us, our money can disappear at a moment's notice. So Obama's he's, like the young kids say, he's an op.
yeah, for sure.
Because can't no guy, and if and I had I read his book, and when I read his book, I'm sitting here like, this dude it just don't happen that easy. That's the reality, man. It just don't happen that easy. That you can just come from out of nowhere, bada bing, bada boom, and now you're president of America and you run 2 terms and you get more votes than anybody ever. It just won't happen like that. Come on now. So, we got to understand that we can disrupt the system right now if brothers are willing to take a stand and not give the 2 parties their vote. People can be mad at us, but you know what? They mad at us anyway, and we ain't never do nothing wrong to nobody.
Okay. So what do you say to those people that say that we're splitting the vote? If we do that, what you suggest as a power play, we're splitting the vote, we're causing dissension, we're gonna let Trump get in, and then now, all is lost, gloom and doom. And I'm not a Trumper at all. I'm not for either one. I'm just painting the picture.
We're going to catch hell regardless in this next election, no matter if we go with Trump or if we go with, Kamala. Black people are going to catch hell, and they better get prepared. So if you don't get a third party up there where you can somehow break the tie on some of this craziness that goes on, I don't want to hear it later. Don't want to hear it later. Because
Sister Aurora,
what's going to happen is, because this is going to happen, they'll vote for one of the 2 and they'll disappear. And then somehow they will expect magical things to happen. And you talk to the average Black person, they'll tell you Obama was no, leave Obama alone. No, he was good for us. What did he do? He was good. He was a good president. What did he do? But leave Obama alone because that's all they say. But they can't tell you, well, didn't he? Nope, didn't do that. Nope, didn't do that. So
I was listening to a podcast about a week or so ago, and they were saying that a lot of Obama's work for the community was buried in a lot of the legislation that was proposed to him. Obamacare, some of the debt stuff that he helped, the crisis, the debt crisis in 08, all of those sorts of things, the housing bubble, a lot of those things indirectly affected us, and we should be happy that they indirectly affected us. Do we see any evidence that the hood is any better, that the blocks are any better, that our children are any better off, that our schools and our civic works are any better because of the hidden treats that was in the middle of the legislation that never really saw the light of day in a for real way? What do y'all think? Tell us at home. Sister Aurora, what do you think? Is it all right for, Barack to hide the initiatives that he meant for us, even though, it was okay to run on the skin tone thing and all of that? What's your thoughts on that? Should he be everybody's president, or should he be our president?
Here's a to each his own, because right out the box, it helped me as a person who felt like a glass ceiling was only going to be on a level for myself. Okay. So Lily Ledbetter Act and everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all better fix this compensation up for me, because why am I doing the work and you getting the pay? Okay. So right off the bat, it worked for me. Okay. He was a president that worked for me for homes. Now I may have lost some things in the 2008 crash, but it is what it is. And there were things that came out of his administration that tried to help compensate for it, whether it was real estate was bomb, I had properties, so there's certain things. It's actually wherever, did it meet you where you were standing? Don't know, because that's to each his own. It met me where I was standing and when and what I needed. The Violence Against Women's Act, that met me where I was standing. Okay, the first person on Long Island to have a case under that act. It worked for me. So, it's really where you stand. What is it that he brought forth? Whatever he brought forth, it worked for me. Okay, in a lot of situations.
So, last question, and I'll hang it up, because we were supposed to hang it up about 10 minutes ago, but I can appreciate when sisters say, I got this, amenity and that amenity through Obama. Um, you have daughters. I have a daughter. Brother Mozzie has a daughter. The benign neglect of young boys that are now men that are going to be possible suitors for all of our daughters. How do those years fare for them? And where do they find their empowerment moving forward? Because, like we said earlier, there are stereotypical, you know, factions at work, processes, things at work that, you know, work to hold us brothers down. And of course, the newspapers and the tabloids and the sensationalness of it all will never, stop talking about how brothers don't match sisters in their work and their outcome and in their achievements. So how can our daughters find good husbands if there's a 40 or 50-year benign neglect going on by both parties when it comes to rearing young black boys into men? Who's investing in them?
Well, it's a really bouncy ball here, because when in 1995, the greatest event in the history of America where black men were concerned occurred, and that was the Million Man March. And I know from where we were trying to make sure that brothers not only could go, but buying buses so that they could go.
Right.
There was a message in that shook the whole world, made Washington decide to clear out, because you got all this coming in. Never the incidents of like June 6th, never did that happen in 1995. Then you fast forward 5 years. Every single group is popping up with rites of passage programs. You shoot through the rope. Here Comes the Dawn was donating to these young boys.
Oh, hey, whoa, don't skip over a Sutu of the Row. I helped create that. Shout out to Reverend Challenger. Shout out to Reverend Challenger. No doubt. Small world.
I was his administrator, but when we created Institute of the Rope, it was based on the fact that now is the time that young men need something. Okay. And so when every plan of those steps were happening for 10 years with small businesses sponsoring, because you couldn't get no state, every now and then you get a village or a township sponsor, for these events. But we got them into the schools, and with brothers who were in the schools that could help, continue it, like especially with the Sutu of the Rope. So there are things happening. And so when I hear, it's like maybe somebody's wasn't involved in what was moving, but there was a lot of things moving. And, at that time I had no children. I had no son. And we were working very hard to make sure, we brought, Kajufu, we put him out like 3 times. Dick Gregory came out a couple of times just because he knew what we were doing, Dick Gregory came out to Roosevelt for us. He came and spoke for us. We were giving, not down here, townships were giving us $100,000 in scholarships, but yet the grassroots was making $500,000 in scholarships, where we sent young men to schools, where we sent young men to vocational, to auto places, to all up in White Plains, because there were businesses that would take and help and work with these folks. So where I was sitting, things were happening. And that's why I said it's really from your view, because I know what was going on for 10 years after the Million Man March. Then something died. Something died. It was like, wow, they first of all, first CBOs, community-based organizations, had funding rescinded from the federal governments. You had things where we had computers that were donated, to centers and stuff were taken back because they were no longer doing that. We had, Hashra, who was a big donation of ours, who, when they sat there and I said, well, we're not going to accept the donation of computers unless you can give us technical assistance. Okay, because who's gonna fix it? Otherwise, we end up with a lot of rooms like what half of the centers did with junk because ain't nobody could help them, ain't nobody could fix it. So things were pulled back from a lot of community organizations back then. You know, compassion fatigue came in. Everybody was tired because then there was a surge in police brutality. You know, and then there was another. So it was a pivot for us to switch, and whatever entertainment scandal that they would throw in to distract us. And so from where I sat, work was going on. You know, from where I sat, there's about, and I can not even lie, they can line up 500 men out there now because of the work that we did. Men in communities that are doing things with their young ones, that are doing things with their kids, that are doing things with their churches and community organizations, that are doing things as professors and faculty of colleges and universities, and they're now trying to even get into the K through 12 schools throughout. So I'm proud to say that I know stuff was done. And there's a lot of men out there who benefited from the programs that we had going on.
So Brother Mozzie, I have a question based on what Sister Aurora just said. Does the litmus test right, left, or center did it move the needle in that direction? Because she's not wrong at all. Because I was involved in the Sutu Order. Shout out to Reverend Trollinger. But did it pass the test of moving brothers in a particular way so they could be progressive in large part, or was more of the 95 crime bill and some of those other more legal kind of roadblocks there to curtail maybe what little bit we did get off of efforts like the Million Man March and such? What's your thoughts?
I think I have to kind of roll with one of our great ancestors, Steve Coakley, and when he said there's confusion in the battlefield. And I think that we were more program focused than we were really value focused. And in those values, there's that, we did not create the kind of things that would really move us forward. The reality is we need to be engaging in entrepreneurship. We got to try to crack this economic nut, because what happened with most of us is we have white finance, black leadership. And we have brothers who go, and their goal is to end up in some place where white people run everything, but give them the illusion that they're making some strides because they now are the new executive director or the new CEO or something of that nature. So I personally just don't see where anything was ever done. All I saw was three-car Monty.
I always thought, because when I took a busload from Reverend Trollinger's church down to Washington, D.C. to participate in the Million Man March, and I was responsible for, we might have missed each other, sis. I might have saw you and didn't know who you was, you know what I'm saying? But that's what's up. That energy draws us together. But, did we miss an opportunity right there with that particular, I guess, network of brothers to forge our own political party, like those of the Black Panther yesteryear? That was their intent, to be a political party for the people, for our people, and then they met the obstacles that they met. Did we miss an opportunity?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because all we kept talking about was organizing, but if you don't know how to organize, you won't organize. And I still think there were some concrete things missing, that when we went back to our communities, not much happened. But one of the things that had to have happened is brothers needed to check their ego, because what happens to a lot of us is brothers, I know, we probably were standing right next to each other at the Million Man March also.
Mhm.
But
Right, exactly.
you got brothers who came back, and some of them were acting like, they had
There you
this
go.
bourgeois nationalist mentality now, like, I went to the Million Man March, like I'm better than you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And then look at all the brothers that went. What's going on with them same brothers? How many
Mm,
are even having these kind of discussions anymore?
mm,
Once again, we go in with picket signs and we come out with a job, and once again, we forget about the struggle.
mm. Interesting. Well, listen, it's 10 o'clock. We have got to shut it down, but we will do, Harp in the Hood on Wednesday. So we will have part two of this because there are some interesting things going on in St. Louis. There's some
Oh, yeah.
interesting things going on in BMO. There are some interesting things that have gone on in New York City. There were some interesting things that have gone on in the hoods of all those places. So stay tuned for Wednesday's episode of the Real HD Show. It's your voice, your victory here. Please join us. I'm glad everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank you to Brother Mozzie for staying up late. I know, you thank you for Sister Aurora to sticking up with us late, and everybody that uh tuned into the show and participated. Please like, share, and subscribe to the show. Comment, turn on all your notifications so that every time we have a Real HD show, we can have a higher discussion. So I'm gonna say peace to y'all and good night, and y'all walk with power. And I will see y'all on Wednesday. Each one bring one. Y'all bring somebody else to the show. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Later.